Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So I have to tell you a story. I got up this morning. I thought today was going to be a normal day. I got ready, I got my suit on, I was getting ready to go to a meeting, and then my daycare calls, and they say, Ezra has lice.
Oh, no.
I know, and I'm like, well, at least I don't have to worry about it. But in all seriousness, it meant that my entire day got mixed. I spent most of the day keeping him from trashing the place and also washing everything in the house and also getting that lice shampoo, although everyone keeps telling me to go to this lice lady. But nevertheless, thank God, we're pretty sure we made it through. But it reminds me of the classic Yiddish proverb, man plans and God laughs. So true. And it felt also serendipitous that I was reminded of the importance of that proverb, man plans and God laughs, and how sometimes it is a bittersweet and a very sad laugh. Sometimes laughter isn't even the right emotion. As today marks the second anniversary of the start of the pandemic. It's hard for me to believe that we're here now. Over 6 million people have died from COVID-19. Of them, including almost 1 million Americans, 965,000, and 67,000 New Yorkers. It's staggering and humbling to consider the impact of this virus and the way it has changed our lives forever, forcing us to consider every single minor thing could change. Every single major thing could change, and we wouldn't even expect it. So before we begin our service, I want to invite us to take a moment of silence, not just for the memory for those we've lost, but also for them. And also to recognize the gratitude that we're here praying together, that I can see so many of your faces, something that was not true even a couple weeks ago. And for the strength to move forward. Please join me in silence. Amen.
Amen.
I realized that I've told you my son may have lice, I am bald, but I've not told you who I am. I'm Rabbi David Levy. It is so wonderful to be praying with you this Shabbat. I'm joined in the leadership of the service by Cantor Danielle Rudnitsky. Dave Schuster joins us on the bima, and also Pete Malinverni on the piano, Jerome Morris on percussion, and Idan Santos on flute. We're so excited for you to be praying with us today, and I want to invite up a special family that we're extra excited to be praying with, the family of Walker Lewis, and I want to invite up his parents, his sister, and his brother to join Dave in kindling the lights of Shabbat. Amen. So I say to you, Walker, I am so sorry that my son's potential life scare meant that I didn't see you yet today, but I'm so excited to be celebrating with you tomorrow, and I know Cantor Kleinman said to me, you were amazing. Exactly. So amazing, and we're so excited for everyone to hear your wonderful leadership tomorrow morning. And as you return to your seats, I'll invite everyone to find a prayer book, copy of Mishkan Tefillah, and join us in prayer on page 130 with Lechu Neranena.
Lechu Neranena,
Page 138, Lecha Dodi will offer verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, rising at the final verse and turning to the door to greet the Sabbath bride. Verse 5.
Segula,
page 146.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam vahen.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed. We turn to page 2 in our prayer books. I know that's far from where we are now. Page 2. We are called unto life, destiny uncertain. Yet we offer thanks for what we know, for health and healing, for labor and repose, for renewal of beauty in earth and sky, for that blend of human holy which inspires compassion, and for hope, eternal, promising light, for life, for health, for hope, for beautiful, bountiful blessing. All praise to the source of being. Baruch atah Adonai, mekor nefesh kol chai. For life, for health, for hope, for beautiful, bountiful blessing. All praise to the source of being. For life, for health, for hope, for beautiful, bountiful blessing. All praise to the source of being. Baruch atah Adonai, mekor nefesh kol chai. Amen. Amen. For life, for health, for hope,
For beautiful, bountiful blessing.
all praise
Praise to the
source of being. Baruch atah Adonai, mekor nefesh kol chai. Amen. Amen. Page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi ניצבך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Continue with the Song of Freedom, Mi Chamocha, page 158.
Page 160, we have our prayer Hashkivenu, where we ask God to spread a Sukkot Shalom, a sukkah, a shelter of peace over us. And this Shabbat, may it be not only over us, not only over Israel, but also over the Ukraine and the entire world. May we have peace.
Amen. Page 162, Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat לדורות ברית העולם. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat לדורות ברית העולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות ברית העולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות ברית העולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות ברית העולם.
Page 164. Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagin, Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Koneh Hakol, v'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, u'mevii geula livnei bneihem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר
ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Take these next few moments for the prayer of the heart. You may be inspired by our prayer book or just by closing your eyes and saying what you need to say to God. And you'll let us know if you have completed your prayer when you take your seat.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, יעשה שלום עלינו, עושה שלום במרומיו.
few years ago, there was a great television show on called Nova with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Did anyone see the reboot of Nova, or is it just me? All right, it was just me. It's okay. Oh, Judy saw it. Okay, good. I'm not alone. He throughout the show, he used a metaphor that stuck with me. He said, if we imagine the existence of the universe from the Big Bang until now as a cosmic year, our human story would begin on December 31st, 11:59 p.m., 46 seconds. As he describes, all of recorded history occupies only the last 14 seconds. Every person you've ever heard of lives somewhere in there. All those kings and battles, migrations and inventions, wars and loves, everything in the history books happened here in the last seconds of the cosmic calendar. Moses was born 7 seconds ago. Buddha, 6 seconds ago. Jesus, 5 seconds ago. Muhammad, 3 seconds ago. It was not even 2 seconds ago that, for better or for worse, the two halves of the earth discovered each other. And it was only in the very last second of the cosmic calendar that we began to use science to reveal nature's secrets and her laws. I've always felt incredibly small whenever I think of that. Not in a mean way, but in a humbling and self-effacing perspective of, wow, the universe is so vast, and my part of the history is not even a nanosecond within the cosmic year. It's amazing to consider how much has happened before even humanity existed. It's those moments where we feel in awe of the world that we might walk away with a changed mindset. For Moses, the person in our tradition with the closest relationship to God, Moses experienced God face to face over and over again. He was so awed by that interaction, it's no surprise that he had a humble mindset. In fact, it's his humility that is often used to explain an oddity that begins our Torah portion, Vayikra. The last letter in that first word in the Torah portion, the Aleph, is written in superscript, making it 1/3 the size of every other letter in the Torah. The scholar known as the Baal Turim commented on this oddity, and he came up with this answer. Moses was both great and humble, and wanted only to write Vayikar, meaning chance, that God just happened to stop by and talk to him. And God said to him, no, I want you to write an Aleph, that I called you by name and I wanted to be in relationship with you. Moses then said to God, because of his extreme humility, that he would only write an Aleph that was smaller than all the other Alephs in the Torah. And he did write it incredibly small. Much has been written of the humility of Moses, that he was anav me'od mikol ha'adam, that he was the humblest of humans. The Via Institute suggests that humility is one of the many character traits that we should be celebrating about ourselves. As they argue, true humility involves an accurate self-assessment, recognition of limitations, keeping accomplishments in perspective, and forgetting of the self. Humble people do not distort information to defend or verify their own image, and they do not need to see or present themselves as better than they actually are. Today is a potent reminder of our limitations. We mark this Shabbat, as I shared at the beginning, the second anniversary of the start of the pandemic. Even though I stand here today without a mask, and I feel so blessed to see so many of you, I know that this reality might be temporary. I can't count the number of jokes I've heard over the past few weeks, how the next COVID variant is looking so excitedly at all of our unmasked faces. I also want to note that I said this is the mark of the second anniversary and not the end of this time. Unfortunately, the pandemic is not over. Millions remain unvaccinated. And yes, most epidemiologists are hoping that we in the Western world might get to an endemic phase. That day is not today. The only thing we can try to do is to take each day as it comes and to celebrate the opportunities we have to feel free from the restrictions COVID has brought, even with the humility to know that our lives can change on a dime through no fault of our own. No mistake we made, simply the world we live in that is in no way linear. Yes, the world we live in is far too vast and complicated for anyone to truly comprehend. I've spent at least 2 hours every single day for the past few weeks trying to understand what is going on in Ukraine and trying to understand what Vladimir Putin is thinking. And I still don't fully understand what's going on. It's also clear to me that the experts I'm listening to and engaging with don't exactly know what's going on either. No one has been able to clearly articulate exactly what Putin is thinking. I've heard lots of very thoughtful guesses, but at the end of the day, they even recognize with the humility to say, we're not really sure. I've heard countless possible scenarios for an endgame, from the dirty compromise with mild Russian influence over parts of Ukraine, which has kind of gone away a little bit this week, to the best and worst case scenarios with a clear win for Russia and Ukraine, which feel further and further from possible. I've heard how this might impact the geopolitical situation in the South China Sea, with Taiwan as a possible next invasion if China sees a clear win for Russia. All of this requires the humility to say, I don't fully understand what's going on, and I need to learn more. That this world is far bigger and more complex than we like to admit. And we need to take a breath and say, there's more to learn, there's more to understand. Trying to engage with anything from a humble mindset is so hard, though, in the world we live in today. We need the strength to not be armchair epidemiologists or geopoliticians. My apologies for the past few minutes. Indeed, we are strengthened when we embrace nuance and a more complex understanding of the world we live in. I thought of this immediately when I heard of this great new protocol on Twitter. I'm not an active Twitter user myself, but I know the way in which it influences the news ecosystem. And on Twitter today, if the algorithm recognizes that you haven't read the article that you're about to post, you've just read the headline, it asks you if you really want to share it. If we give ourselves the time to actually engage with the material, we often come away with a far more nuanced and thoughtful viewpoint that a headline cannot provide, versus hubristically believing that we already know the content of the article because of that incendiary headline. Humility does not require us to check our critiques or hide our praise. Rather, having a humble mindset is careful work of studying and understanding before shouting from the rooftops. To let listening to real people take a front seat, and to avoid echo chambers like social media that simply further one-sided narratives that lack the nuance we need. Any good conversation where humility is the guiding principle will end with far more questions than answers. Any rigid, dogmatic approach on either the right or the left does a disservice to everyone and changes no minds. Rather, it further entrenches people in their own positions and camps. The next time we share our opinions, will we be like Moses, willing to accept the fact that we are wrong, willing to say, I don't know? Real life is far more nuanced than the news bites, and I hope we can all develop the strength to say, I may be wrong about this. It is with a great deal of pain that I turn to the Misha Baruch list, in part because I know people on this list, I've spoken to them recently, and I know the pain they're in, and in part because it is very long. And I say that not in a disparaging way, but in a way that recognizes the amount of pain and hurt that exists in our world, and we have but a small snapshot from the people in our community who have people that they love, that they want us to be praying for healing for. So I know that I am reading just a small portion of the people who are in need of this prayer. So when I get to the end and when we start to sing, I hope that you bring into your minds and your hearts so many more people. But if you want to share anyone before I share these names aloud for this holy community to hear, please rise and do so now. Our community also thinks of Tyler Kendall, Jennifer Leventhal, Steve Grodzinski, Sarah Horan, Linda Feldman, Reuven Avraham ben Mordechai Ve'ada, Zalman Pesach, Donna Pratula, Grace Neidish, Avram Feivel ben Michel, Herschel ben Sarah, Abraham ben Miriam, Yitzhak Halevi ben Shalom, Elizabeth Hars, Barbara Feldman, Tony and Gina Delapa, Matthew Atwood, Ruth Weinfeld, Linda Byron Glucksman, Gloria Byron, Anthony and Elizabeth Dankner, Mordechai Ben Yaakov, Deborah Kapnick, Nicole Schusse, Neil Glasgow, Leah Greenspan, Andrea Reiner, Masha Batsora, Aviva Tzila Bat Esther Bela, Jeffrey Millman, Andre Goldstein, Ken Master, Chava Batsara, Eliyahu Chaim Ben Fredel, Sheila Fried, Malkut Tzipora Bas Rachel, Tamar Bat Malka, Heschel Meir Ben Davida Chana, and so many more who are in need of our love and our thoughts and our prayers. We continue, page 371.
So
Please rise as we continue with Aleinu on page 586.
Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
As I looked around the room throughout this evening, I recognized how many of you were here, in some ways the same reason that I am here. Tonight marks the 4th yahrzeit for my grandmother, Zelma Moss. And as I was praying tonight, I kind of got lost in thinking about her and wanted to share just a brief memory of her, and I hope it helps you on your road of memory to draw in a memory that just lifts you up in this moment where you're remembering them. My grandmother was the only person I ever knew who winked at me. And I say that with no joking at all, but it was this moment of whenever I would catch her eye and we were in a room together, she would just wink at me like that. And it just makes me smile in thinking of her and the way in which she tried to make this world a better place, and the way in which, I don't think I'll ever again meet someone who does that with no irony, with no joking, but just as a sign of endearment and love. So as we all draw memories of people that we love into our hearts in this moment, I'll ask that we rise in the following order. If you are within the first 7 days of remembering your loved one, would you rise at this time? If you're within the first 30 days of remembering your loved one, would you rise at this time? If you're within the first year of remembering your loved one, would you rise at this time? Tonight marks the yahrzeit, the anniversary of the passing of your loved one. Would you rise at this time? And I'll ask us to all rise in sympathy and in memory and love as we remember. We remember Richard Menon, father of Donna Sherry and Jeffrey Menon, and grandfather of Phoebe and Stephanie Sherry. Rachel Levy, sister of Evelyn Stock. Gisa Magadman, grandmother of Dahlia Lenskis. Herbert Heller, brother of Mary Silk. Brian Shadroff, brother of Lisa Boxer. Walter P. Stern, husband of Betsy Stern and father of Sarah Mae Stern, William Stern, and David Stern. Stephen Blackman, brother of Michael Blackman. Charles Joseph Sadeloff, husband of Elaine Sadeloff, father of Amy Lemley and Nancy Abraham, and grandfather of John Lemley, Cliff Lemley, Tracy Levy, and E.D. Abraham. Blanche Silver, mother of Pam Rubin and Cheryl Bernstein. Noel Flagg Sr., father of Noel Flagg. Phyllis Lubin, mother of Brad Lubin. Lillian Marlene Quinn, mother of Deborah Kolodner. Carrie Barkus, daughter of Hope Barkus and Alan Barkus. And the yard site, the anniversary of their passing, we remember Jeffrey Beck, Blanche R. Bennon, Abraham Block, Marcy Channon, Renee Denoff, Ellis Disick, Jackie Fadum, Hannah Fogel, Herman Froelich, Morton B. Geltzer, Nate Genter, Carolyn Gould, Jacob Grossman, Ben Hauben, David Albert Koretsky, Ruth Korick, Annie Levin, Sandra Lewis, Shirley Lipfert, Albert Lowenthal, Bertram Mantell, Michael Mantell, Sandor Mark, Zelma Moss, Vesta Murphy, Inez Panfiel, Morris Radoff, Rosalind Rayfell, Edward Temkin, Rose Temkin, Alan Ryan, Abraham Roller, Rita Rosen, Edwin Saltz, Alan Scheffler, Marcia Scheinman, Marjorie Schwadron, Etta P. Schwartz, Harvey Siegel, Glenn Silverman, Arthur Sobel, Josephine Babro Solomon, Jeanette Streger, Bert Swersey, Emmanuel Toder, Lillian Warshaw, Joseph Weiss, and Eleanor Zimmer. If you have names to add to our commemoration, or if I've inadvertently mispronounced your loved one's name, please share it at this time. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for blessing, as we offer the words of Kadisha Tome, page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei techo Beit Yisrael, B'agalahu b'zman kari v'yimru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei d'kutsha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, Amen.
It's my pleasure now to invite Dave Schuster to offer some announcements and some words of greeting on behalf of the Board of Trustees.
Tomorrow, 9 a.m., 2 events, sharing Shabbat and Torah study. This week's Parsha is Vayikra, and he called. God called out to Moses. And it covers, among other things, various sacrifices involving meals, animals, and the 3 weeks of spring training that Major League Baseball sacrificed to end its holdout. Speaking of baseball, Sunday, March 20th at 1 p.m., the men of Reform Judaism will be screening the movie Heading Home, The Tale of Team Israel, which charts the 2017 underdog journey of Israel's national baseball team competing for the first time in the World Baseball Classic. The screening will be followed by a baseball clinic for all in attendance. Drug tests not required. Turning back to this weekend, it's a big one. As you know, it's Purim. Sunday, March 13th, Purim Palooza, family Purim service with Megillah reading at 9:30 a.m., followed by an outdoor carnival at 10:45 a.m. TV cartoon fans of the 70s will be excited to hear that a special appearance will be made by Megillah Gorilla. Also, I am told that this event will be so much fun that you are urged to bring diapers. Seriously, as a donation to AFIA for a diaper dunk game. Further, on Wednesday, March 16th, 7 p.m., 2 events, one for teens, one for adults. WR Team Purim, where 9th to 12th graders will gather to help fight food insecurity in Westchester by making breakfast bags, lunch bags, snack bags, and dinner bags for donation to local food banks. The other event for adults is the whole Megillah in less than an hour, where our clergy team is looking forward to having you hear parts of the Megillah while enjoying hot drinks and light bites, including Hamantashen. In an effort to cut costs in light of recent inflationary pressures, however, the Hamantashen, instead of being 3-cornered, will be only 2-cornered. All right, just a reminder, Shabbat services, I believe, is next Friday, March 18th, 6:15 p.m. And at this time, we would like to wish a hearty mazel tov to this week's bar mitzvah family, celebrating tomorrow morning, 10:45 a.m. service, bar mitzvah of Walker Lewis, proud parents Alan and Amy Lewis. Lastly, a thank you to our greeter, Vicki Kravitz, and to all of you, a Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Only 2 small corrections. 1, I will be Megillah Gorilla on Sunday. And 2, it's pronounced Afia. But nevertheless, thank you so much for sharing that and for enlightening all of us. Yes, as always, the reason we do diapers, as we invite a package of diapers, is one of the many things that you cannot buy with SNAP benefits. So SNAP is the re-established food stamp system. So there are people in our wider community who are able to get food. If they need help, they can get food, but they can't get diapers. And it's really, really tragic. So thank you for helping to ensure that the neediest among us get what they need this coming Purim, and we fulfill the mitzvah of matanot le'evyonim, gifts to the poor, which is a core mitzvah of Purim, along with having a drink, which we hope you'll do on Wednesday night. So with that said, anything to add, Cantor?
No, we covered it really well tonight.
All right, so I'll ask for you to rise for our concluding song, Adon Olam, page 625.
Ve'acharei
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Dan. I'm Alan Broadwood.
Good, there it is in my head again.
Making an announcement about heading home. I get very emotional.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's nice to have you here. Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. I think everyone appreciates it, the players and the listeners.
Yes, absolutely. There are certain movies you watch over and over again. Little Michigan's in mind. I saw Yankee doing the baby on July 4th years and years ago, and that's like a traditional kind of thing every July 4th. I try and find it on Netflix. Watch it. I mean, a classic is a classic. Good to see you.
Shabbat Shalom to you.